went for a walk on a ledge 10 stories off the ground. And that's what being prepared looks like. And this is how they pulled out a cow that fell into the manhole. It wasn't a smooth ride at first, but the second attempt was more successful. Police officers from Peru brought several units together and created a human chain to pull a dog out of the river. A duckling fainted in front of this guy, but he didn't back down and brought the bird back to life. Have you ever heard a hare screaming? This one was loudly crying for help, and it got lucky. And this cutie got help from passers-by. A leopard in India accidentally fell into a water tank, but people helped the animal get out using a net. To the cat's credit, it immediately understood what to do. A mischievous panda fell down a bank, but receiving a helping hand from the zookeepers, and it's officially the most adorable thing I've seen today. Take a look at this puppy's mom begging people for help for her baby. Due to the severity of its wounds, they had to take the puppy with them for a few days to help it heal. German Shepherd from the river, several men, including people from a rescue squad, tried to get it out. After many failed attempts, the dog was finally saved and returned to its owner. This dog fell under the ice and had no way to save itself. Thankfully, the rescue team got there in time, pulling the dog out of the water. Now, all it has to do is dry off and warm up. Sometimes the tide throws sea turtles onto dry land, and if they are upside down, they cannot flip over and get back into the water. This guy found a giant turtle on the shore and saved it by turning it the right way up. And here, a Ukrainian rescue squad is working hard to dig a puppy from under the rubble. A bit of persistence and human's best friend is saved. Asked a trucker for food, and the man wasn't afraid to feed the wild animal practically by hand.
So I want to show you, we took that mold last time.
These guys really wanted to help a duck without a leg, so they made a special prosthetic using 3D printing technology. Moment of truth. A sparrow lost consciousness due to extreme heat and dehydration. It was lying in the middle of a busy street when it was lucky to be found by a kind and compassionate person. A dog saw a passerby and was insistent that the person should follow. Turns out her puppies fell into a drain and couldn't get out without help. A bald eagle named Beauty lost its beak to the poachers, but kind people created a new beak for the bird using 3D printing technology. They used the same method to help another bird, a large toucan at the Zoo Avenue Rescue Center in San Jose.
A highly poisonous and aggressive snake enjoys a cold bath from a friendly neighbor during a summer heat wave. It's truly amazing to see humans and dangerous animals like this one being friendly towards each other through difficult times. A local called for urgent help after seeing a man pouring cement over an innocent dog. He had been stuck there for one night and cried relentlessly, but these kind people were determined to save him as they dug out the poor animal. They took him home, gave him medicine, and treated all his injuries. But most importantly, they also gave him a lot of love, something he needed desperately. All she could do was beg humans for help. Fortunately, her cries were heard by this woman who had everything she needed for the rescue mission. A lioness was far from the watering hole and wouldn't have been able to get there in time, but thanks to this brave man, her thirst was quenched. Dumping an animal in the forest that needs urgent help is an unspeakable act, but that is exactly what the owners of this poor dog did. He was dumped in the forest with a huge tumor, cold, alone, and sad, waiting for his end in agony. Thankfully, he was found by a group of wonderful animal rescuers who took the poor soul to their shelter. Unfortunately, he had to get his leg amputated, but against all odds, he survived the difficult surgery and now has a normal, happy life ahead of him.
And this rhino had its head stuck in a bucket, probably the clumsiest rhino in the world. Let's just pretend that this leopard was trying to ask for directions to the nearest village. When you trust a person, but then they crack your neck. An incredible moment of releasing birds back into the wild. This guy picked an efficient, if not very safe way to move the camels from the row. This guy just needs a way to earn quarters and then it'll be fully independent.
Fell through the ice. It desperately fought to stay above the surface. Tired and probably on the verge of hypothermia, no one dared to jump into the frozen lake until this hero showed up. Even though he couldn't feel his legs anymore, he kept on going to save its life. And as he finally reaches land, another act of kindness is displayed as all the bystanders take good care of the hero. German Shepherd Cisco was soaked in gasoline and horribly abused by his former owner. But before it was too late, these kind people found him and turned his life around. Now, he can finally feel happy and loved for the first time in his life, and was separated from its mother, so these rescuers recorded the cry of the baby and played it near the tree to get the mom's attention. After waiting patiently, the mom finally came down for the baby, and their reunion will melt your heart. That right there proves that anyone who says that animals don't have feelings aren't paying enough attention. Off the coast of Russia, 4 orcas got trapped in the ice and had no other choice but to beg humans for help. Rescuers had to manually disperse huge chunks of ice, but the hard work was worth it because all 4 were eventually saved. Straight towards you would send most people running for their lives, but this man knew it was just Betty, a friendly alligator that was coming to ask for a little treat. Betty is one of 6 rescued alligators who enjoy a pristine cypress swamp with no public access, and the other gators are also just as friendly as her. Seeing a helpless animal in distress is a truly heartbreaking feeling, but how you choose to act in such a terrible situation says a lot about you as a person. If you choose to do your very best to save the animal's life, you are, unfortunately, one of the kind few. In today's video, we will share with you some heartbreaking clips of animals asking us for help.
This female goose lost her beak as a result of a dog attack and couldn't eat properly. It took 6 weeks of treatment, 3 surgeries, a 3D printer, and kind hands. Now she has a new beak, even better than the last one. A guy found this frog floating belly up in the pool because it was unconscious, and he brought the little guy back to life with a heart massage. I've never imagined this was possible. This dog's leash got caught in the elevator that started to move. By a complete miracle, the dog was safe thanks to this guy's swift reflexes.
How this could have happened, but if you have any idea, please let me know in the comments.
Good job, go.
Of course, the important thing is that the camel was saved.
Go.
Peruvian police officers formed a human chain to rescue a dog that found itself stranded in a canal. Scott was on his way to work when he heard cries for help in the distance. When he got closer, he realized that it was a young fawn desperately asking for help. Becoming a hero was probably not what he expected to do on a boring Monday morning.
The owner forgot to close the window, and the neighbor had to save the poor pet that got stuck in the gap. Dogs are like children. You have to keep a close eye on them. A dolphin was beached, and as if that weren't bad enough, it was tangled in a net. Fortunately, the animal was quickly freed and returned into the water. You don't have to save the world to be a hero. You can just save a cat that got stuck in the window, just like this downstairs neighbor with a long stick. Using an excavator, this guy rescued 3 ducks that were stuck in the mud. This person helped a deer whose antlers were stuck in the edges of the pier. Just look at the scared but grateful eyes of the animal. This dog had a seizure, so the dog's owner supported the animal with her kindness. The dog is now fine.
Its paw was bound by chains, yet it was deeply afraid of humans. However, in the end, it seemed to understand the intentions of its rescuer, Sky. The creature's fear and confusion gave way to a sense of trust. After being released, you would think the cat's first thought would be to run away into the forest, but the animal was so confused by the human's act of kindness that it didn't know what to do. Eventually, the bobcat said thank you to its savior in its own way and headed back home where it belongs.
And this is one of those moments when an animal is practically trying to get into a situation where it will need help from a human. This German Shepherd was standing on the fence, tangled in barbed wire and practically begging for help. Many people just drove past it, but thankfully there were caring and compassionate people who stopped to help the dog. This fox couldn't get out of the hole, and thankfully, a man lowered a rope down to help the animal. It's a good thing that this fox was savvy enough to quickly realize how to get out. This story deserves its own animated film about Bambi's adventures. This baby deer was rescued from a fast-flowing river by several people who risked their own life to save the animal. Did you know how much a regular elastic band can damage a shell? Thank goodness this turtle was freed, and hopefully it will have an easier life going forward. A bear cub was trapped in a barbed wire for 8 hours as it tightened around its front paw. Trying to free itself, the bear was scratching and biting the wires. It was spotted by local farmers who called the rescue team, which then managed to untangle the animal and administer first aid treatment.
Poor things cry for help. The little bear cub fell into a pitch-black basement in the middle of the night. Good thing it quickly figured out how to use the ladder and climbed out.
There you go. There you go.
Trapped and about to sink into the cement, but was saved by a hero just in time.